Throughout the events of Code Geass, Lelouch has proven time and time again why he's the man who creates miracles. Overtaking the world with both wits and power, Lelouch definitely becomes one of the most interesting and intelligent characters to analyze. So today, we are back with another Lelouch analysis video. In this one, we'll be covering two of his strategic feats. First, the hotel hostage strategy, and second, the Narita strategy. And judging by how well the previous video performed, this one's really for the 5 or 6 people on this channel who enjoyed that last one. So without further ado, let's get right straight into it. The hostage strategy begins when a group of Britannian prisoners, including Lelouch's school friends and Princess Euphemia herself, are captured by the Japanese Liberation Front and held in an isolated hotel cut off by a single bridge. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Cornelia is on the scene, but she hasn't acted. Lelouch, watching the news, notices this hesitation, wondering why Cornelia hasn't made a move yet. It doesn't take him much long to read between their lines. He reasons that the only explanation for Cornelia's inaction is that someone she deeply cares about must be among the hostages. But who could that be? After all, Cornelia is someone who'd sacrifice anyone if it benefited her. So the fact that she is hesitating must mean that someone is there. Someone not just important to Britannia, but to Cornelia herself. And that person is Euphie. And just like that, Lelouch deduces Euphemia's presence solely from Cornelia's behavior. Armed with this knowledge, Lelouch arrives at the scene, confident Cornelia won't risk Euphie's life. Surrounded by royal guards and with Cornelia pointing a gun straight at him, Lelouch gambles everything. Cornelia wants to use this opportunity to kill Zero and avenge Clovis, but Lelouch anticipates this. That's why he throws a question at her. Between Clovis, who is dead, and Euphemia, who is alive, who matters more to her? Cornelia's reaction basically confirms everything Lelouch deduced. In that moment, she realized Zero might be her only chance to save her sister, so she allows him to intervene. But Lelouch's plan goes even deeper. He predicted that the JLF wouldn't kill or detain him. Why? Because the chance to meet Zero, the rising symbol of rebellion, was too tempting. Everything falls into place. Cornelia lets him through, the JLF accepts his presence, and with just 7 men, he begins executing his plan. While distracting the JLF leader, Lelouch secretly orders his team to plant bombs at the hotel key structural points. Then, using geass, he forces the leader to commit suicide and stages the resulting explosion as a catastrophic hostage failure, making it seem as though everyone inside had died. The world watches in horror. Cornelia is devastated, and then Lelouch flips the board. He reveals that all the hostages, including Euphie, are alive. The emotional whiplash stuns both the media and Cornelia. And now that Zero has saved Euphie, Cornelia can retaliate. He holds both moral and political leverage. But Lelouch isn't done yet. He had hijacked a news broadcast in advance. Using it to introduce the Black Knights as the Knights of Justice, he frames the JLF and Clovis as the villains, while positioning himself as a savior, using this entire strategy to further solidify his agenda. Now let's move into the Battle of Narita. Cornelia launched a surprise offensive on the JLF at Narita, a mountainous stronghold. Lelouch saw the attack coming and decided to intervene, not to save the JLF, but to perform a miracle in front of them. Knowing they were outnumbered, Cornelia had at least twice the forces. He had already predicted Cornelia's route and manipulated her into attacking a fake JLF base. The entire battlefield was charted, divided into tactical zones, each one named and planned. When Lelouch gave the command, Callan used the patterning Electro number 3. It wasn't random technobabble. It was a specific instruction tied to Callan's nightmare specs, crafted well in advance. Then come the highlight, the hydraulic bombs. Lelouch has scouted the terrain and used the mountain internal water banks to trigger a calculated landslide. something even the genius scientist Lloyd claimed was impossible without advanced theory. Lelouch did it with research and planning. The landslide wiped out a major chunk of Cornelius' forces, shrunk the battlefield, blocked reinforcements, and even hit part of the JLF, limiting their future resistance and making Zero look even more miraculous. This was only his third real battle, by the way. And while Lelouch used classical military strategy, what made it impressive wasn't just knowledge, it was how masterfully he applied it. He had already planned the entire 3-day sequence leading to this moment. Even as the battle continued in episode 11, Lelouch continued executing pre-planned moves, such as making Callan move through planned points. He even led Cornelia into trap at point 9. Everything down to Terran itself was weaponized. The only misstep? Well, it was none other than Suzaku himself. He chased Lelouch down, and Lelouch nearly had to use geass on him. Saved at the last moment by CC, it's a minor anti-feat in an otherwise perfectly crafted strategy. So these two strategies of Lelouch, the hotel and the Narita one, are one of the most early strategies Lelouch did in season 1 actually. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know the drill. And be sure to comment down any suggestion you have which you would like to see on this channel, and as usual, I'll see you in the next one.